Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. Seeing some sunny conditions out there this morning. Did see some chilly temperatures early this morning. Starting to see a rebound in those temperatures and expecting a fairly seasonable day ahead. Not expecting any precip or lightning in the area. We'll see some slightly breezy conditions picking up later in the day and continuing overnight. Our next chance of precipitation will be as we move into the day tomorrow. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, we have high pressure in control over the region, and as you can see off to the west-northwest, we have a cold front that will be approaching the region as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Out ahead of it, seeing a tighter pressure gradient. That tighter pressure gradient will be moving into our region again as we go later in the day and into the evening time frame, so that's going to bring those slightly breezy conditions moving through the next 24 hours. If we look at our current conditions, we're seeing just a few high clouds out there around 25,000 feet. Winds out of the south-southeast around 4 knots, temperature at 51 degrees, and relative humidity is at 63%. If we take a look at our current visible satellite, we see those clear skies across the region, well off to the west, seeing those high clouds moving eastward. And again, it's just expecting those high clouds to move through the area through the day. We'll see some increasing clouds as we get into the early morning hours of Wednesday. If we take a look at the European model here, as we move through today, expecting those dry conditions through our work hours today and into the evening. And as you can see, a tighter pressure gradient starts to move in as we get into the afternoon. So we're going to see some slightly gusty winds, mainly as we get towards the second part of the afternoon, and that will continue as we move through the overnight time frame, seeing slightly breezy conditions. And then out ahead of that front, we'll start to see those clouds on the increase, starting off with increasing high clouds and then some mid and low clouds starting to move into the area as we get to the start of the day on Wednesday. As you can see here, as we get just past 8 a.m. time frame, we'll start to see best chance of a few light showers moving through the area. Most of that should wrap up as we get into the afternoon hours on Wednesday. We can't rule out a slight chance of maybe an isolated shower or sprinkle around during the afternoon, but best chance of rain will be during the morning hours for our day tomorrow. As we get into the evening time frame, we'll see winds more northerly as we go through the Wednesday evening into early Thursday morning. And then as high pressure builds into our north, we'll start to see the influence from that in the way of those winds shifting more northeasterly as we get into the day on Thursday. So we'll see slightly breezy conditions on Thursday with that northeasterly or onshore flow keeping things on the cooler side as we move through the day on Thursday, and will likely keep things cool as we end and go through the remainder of the week. So if we look at our 24-hour weather risk chart for today, overall mainly green conditions through the next 24 hours until we get to the start of the day tomorrow. Expecting mostly sunny conditions as we move through today, just a few high clouds and maybe a cumulus here or there as we get into the afternoon, but overall expecting that high to get up to around 63 degrees. We'll see winds generally out of the south-southeast as we move through the day, becoming slightly breezy. Later in the afternoon, 9 to 14 knots, gusting up to 19 knots. And as we go into the evening time frame, we'll keep that breeze going through the overnight, generally out of the south, 10 to 15 knots. And as we get past midnight, we'll see that more southwesterly component to the breeze pick up, and that will help things become a bit more gusty, seeing those gusts up to 20 knots and eventually up to 23 knots as we get to the start of the day on Wednesday. So that's when we pick up that yellow risk for those winds at or above 25 knots. We'll see those increasing clouds, some mid-level clouds starting to move in during past the 4 a.m. time frame, and then that we'll see a very slight chance of a light sprinkle out ahead of the front, but the bulk of that activity comes after 8 a.m. tomorrow. We'll see tides running about a half a foot to a foot above normal today. And looking at the next couple of days, Wednesday, best chance of those light rain showers moving through will be during the morning hours, so we do have that yellow risk for precip. We'll also see some slightly breezy conditions, mainly the strongest winds during the morning hours as well, so we keep yellow risk for those winds at or above 25 knots. And then again, just a chance of maybe a isolated shower or sprinkle as we get into the afternoon. Most of the activity should be wrapped up with things becoming mostly to partly cloudy later in the day. High expected around 68 degrees, so we'll see pretty average temperatures for this time of year, and then we'll move back to some cooler temperatures as we get to the second half of the week. Partly to mostly cloudy as we go through Wednesday evening, and we'll see the winds diminish a bit early on, and then we'll see that breeze picking back up as we get into the early morning hours of Thursday, turning more onshore. We'll see a low around 45 degrees with green conditions expected for our weather risk. And as we go into Thursday, mostly to partly cloudy overall, not expecting any precip, but we will have that slightly breezy onshore flow. And that's going to keep things cooler with below average temperatures with a high just around 55 degrees. But overall, green conditions expected at this time as we move through our day on Thursday. That's going to wrap up the 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. to take a look at the extended forecast. Enjoy your morning.